I still remember the look in Emily's eyes that night, sharp and cold, like she discovered some terrible truth about me. "You lied to me?" she spat, her voice trembling with anger. "All these years, you never told me you were an orphan?" I froze. My throat tightened. "Emily, I never lied. I didn't want to talk about it," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Didn't want to talk about it," she echoed, her hands trembling as if she wanted to hit me. "You've been hiding it. You've been hiding everything from me." Her mother, Linda, appeared at the doorway, her eyes cold as ice. "Noah, we raised Emily better than this. You're not worthy of our family. How could you deceive her like this?" I opened my mouth. Words stumbled, fell apart, disappeared. I didn't deceive anyone. I didn't have anyone. I was alone, that's all." Emily laughed bitterly, shaking her head. "Alone? You think that excuses anything? You made me your fiancée, but you never trusted me with the truth." I stepped closer, trying to reach her, my hands out, desperate. "Emily, I trusted you. I thought you'd understand. I've lost parents, family, everything. I was afraid." Her hand shot out. Slap. The sound cracked the air like glass breaking. My cheek burned, my heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. "You're disgusting," she said, her voice low but deadly. "I can't believe I love someone like you." I pressed my palm to my face, feeling the sting, feeling everything shatter inside me. "Emily, please don't." "Don't what?" she asked, stepping back as if I were some filthy creature she had touched by accident. "Don't cry. Don't feel hurt. You should feel hurt, Noah. You deserve it." Her mother shook her head, arms crossed. "See, this is what we've been saying. We can't accept someone like you. You have no family, no proper background. How could we ever let Emily marry you?" "I never hid it," I said, my voice rising. "I told you before. I didn't want to talk about it, because it hurts, okay? I didn't lie to you." Emily's eyes flashed with anger and disappointment. "You think that matters now? Do you see what you've done? Do you see how I feel? You made me humiliate myself, explain myself, defend myself against someone I loved." I wanted to explain, to make her understand, but the words caught in my chest. My mouth moved, but no sound came out. My knees felt weak, my stomach hollow. "You need to leave," Emily said finally, her voice trembling, but firm. I can't look at you right now. Just go." Her mother nodded, a final verdict, cold and merciless. "Go, Noah. You are not welcome here. Don't ever come back." I swallowed hard, choking on my pride, my anger, my heartbreak. Okay, I whispered. My hand shook, but I turned and walked toward the door. Every step felt heavier than the last, like I was dragging my soul behind me. Emily called after me, her voice breaking slightly. I didn't want it to be like this. I didn't stop. I couldn't. My heart was broken, but I forced myself to keep moving. I didn't look back when the door closed. The echo of her slap and her words followed me into the cold night, into the dark, empty streets where I had nowhere to go, no one to call my own. I walked for hours. The city lights blurred, the voices of people laughing, living, feeling like a cruel reminder that I had been thrown out of everything I thought I had. I thought of my parents, gone, my only family, and now the woman I loved had turned against me because of my past. By the time I stopped, my cheeks still stinging, my heart still raw, I made a silent promise to myself. 7 years from this night, I swore I would never let anyone hurt me like this again. I would survive. I would rise. I would not let Emily's slap define me, but it would always remind me who I had been and why I had to fight to become someone she could never break. I had lost everything that night. My love, my trust, my sense of belonging. But deep inside, I felt something else, a spark. A spark that whispered, "This isn't the end of your story, Noah. It's just the beginning." I woke up the next morning feeling like someone had carved a hole inside my chest. When I checked my phone, I saw Emily had blocked me on every platform. Seeing her name disappear felt like losing the last piece of warmth I still had. I tried calling her once, but the call ended so fast it felt like a slap. I stared at the screen and whispered her name, hoping she might change her mind. But nothing changed, and my chest tightened with a sadness I could hardly hold back. At work, The silence around me felt different, and people avoided my eyes. I didn't understand why until my coworker whispered that Daniel had visited the office. He told everyone I tricked his sister and that I pretended to be someone better. The rumors spread faster than I expected, and every glance felt like a silent judgment. When my manager called me into his office, I could already guess what was coming. He avoided my eyes while saying the company had no space for personal scandals. I asked if my work meant nothing, but he only sighed and said his hands were tied. Walking out of that office felt like losing another part of myself I had tried to protect. I packed my things quietly, and people pretended not to notice me slipping away. Outside the building, the cold air hit my face and reminded me I had nothing left. I wanted to scream, but the sound stayed trapped behind everything I refused to release. I walked without thinking, letting my feet lead me to the small apartment I called home. Inside, the silence felt heavier than usual, like the room itself watched me break apart. I sat on the floor and pressed my hands to my chest, trying to hold myself together. I whispered Emily's name, even though I knew she would never hear it again. Losing my parents hurt, but losing her felt like losing the last reason I kept going. I stayed like that until my phone buzzed with a message from Ryan, my only friend. He asked why I hadn't shown up at work, and if something had happened with Emily. I didn't want to answer, but my fingers moved on their own and told him everything. He called right away, his voice loud and angry as he demanded to know where I was. I told him I was home, and he said he was coming whether I liked it or not. When he arrived, he threw his coat aside and stared at me like I had scared him. I told him Daniel ruined everything, and Emily refused even to hear my side. Ryan grabbed my shoulders and said I was worth more than the pain they gave me. I shook my head and told him I felt empty, like someone had drained every part of me. He sat beside me and reminded me I had survived worse things than a broken heart. I told him this hurt differently because Emily had been the one person I trusted completely. Ryan sighed and said people reveal themselves during hardship, and she had shown her truth. I asked him why love could turn so cruel, and he said love becomes cruel when fear wins. Hearing that made something in me crack because I'd always feared losing her. Ryan told me I couldn't let one person decide my worth, no matter how much I loved her. I said it felt like the world pushed me down, and he said he would help me stand. He made me drink water, eat some bread, and breathe slowly until my chest relaxed again. I told him I didn't know how to keep going, and he said we would figure it out together. The room felt a little less heavy with him there, even though my heart still ached deeply. I closed my eyes and whispered that I missed Emily, and Ryan didn't judge me for it. He said love doesn't disappear overnight, but the pain eventually teaches us how to heal. I told him I wasn't sure I could heal this time because I felt completely broken inside. He looked at me firmly and said broken things can still be rebuilt if someone cares enough. Hearing that made my throat tighten because I wasn't used to people caring that deeply. I told him I felt like nothing, and he said I was his brother in every way that mattered. Those words wrapped around me like a light I had forgotten, and I finally breathed again. I let my head rest against the wall and whispered that I didn't want to feel alone anymore. Ryan said I wasn't alone, and as long as he lived, he would never let me fall again. I closed my eyes and told him I would try to keep going, even if every step felt heavy and uncertain right now. He squeezed my shoulder and said healing starts with a single breath, and in that moment, I finally felt a faint spark returning to me. Finally, I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the cracked wall, feeling smaller than ever. I can't do this anymore, Ryan, I whispered into my phone. I can't. I just can't. You're not allowed to say that. Ryan's voice snapped through the speaker. Listen to me, Noah. You're stronger than this. You just can't see it right now. I feel like everything I built, everything I believed in, it's gone, I said, my voice trembling. Emily, my job, my friends, it's all gone. I'm nothing. Nothing? Don't you dare call yourself nothing, he said, anger and care mixed in his tone. I've known you since the orphanage. You survived more than anyone I know. You're still here. You're still breathing. That means something. I don't even know why I'm still here, I muttered. What's left for me? There was silence on the line. Then he spoke softly. There's a new start waiting for you. You just have to reach for it. What kind of start? I asked, even though I felt like I had no right to hope. I've been talking to a friend in another city, Ryan said carefully. He has a small company, needs someone smart, dedicated, someone like you. You could move there. Start fresh. Leave everything behind, Noah. I laughed bitterly. Leave everything behind? Do you think it's that simple? You don't understand, Ryan. I've already lost so much. What if I lose even more? You've already lost everything that tried to break you, he countered. You survived the worst. Now you have a chance to rebuild. You can't stay in this darkness forever. I closed my eyes and leaned back, the ceiling staring back at me like a blank page. I don't know if I have the courage, I admitted. I don't even know if I want it anymore. Then let me help you find it, Ryan said firmly. You don't have to do this alone. Pack a bag. Take the first step. I'll come with you if you want. Just promise me you'll try. I bit my lip and whispered, what if I fail? Then we fail together, he said, almost laughing. But I know you won't. I know you. You're not done yet. Not by a long shot. I sat there, listening to his voice, and for the first time in days, a small spark lit inside me. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could stop letting Emily and Daniel and everyone else define my life. Okay, I finally said, voice barely steady. I'll do it. I'll leave. I'll start over. Good, Ryan said, relief and excitement in his voice. Pack light. Be ready by dawn. I'll pick you up. This is going to change everything. I hung up and stared at the phone. Dawn. A new city. A new life. I felt a strange mix of fear and anticipation. I went to the closet and started tossing clothes into a bag. Each piece I packed felt like shedding a layer of the old me. The me who had been humiliated, rejected, and left alone. At 4 a.m., Ryan knocked softly on my door. You ready? He asked. I nodded, my hands trembling. Yeah, I think I'm ready. The bus station smelled of diesel and early morning coffee. I clutched my bag and looked at the empty streets. I can't believe I'm actually doing this, I said. You can, Ryan replied. You survived losing everything. You can survive this too. And this time, you're building something for yourself, not anyone else. As the bus started rolling, I leaned my head against the window. The city lights faded, replaced by shadows of buildings I had loved and lost. I whispered to myself, I'll never let anyone treat me like that again. I'll rebuild. I'll survive, no matter what it takes. The wind rushed past the glass, and I felt the first flicker of hope in months. My chest still hurt. My heart still carried Emily's betrayal, but I made a silent promise. I would take control of my life. I would rise, piece by piece, even if it broke me along the way. Ryan nudged me, grinning. See, you're already moving forward. Keep your eyes open. This is just the beginning. I closed my eyes, letting the rhythm of the bus soothe me. Just the beginning, I whispered, and for the first time in years, I believed it. The first day at the new company felt like stepping into a storm. I kept my head down, avoiding eye contact, pretending I didn't exist. My bag felt heavier than usual, loaded with the memories I tried to leave behind. You must be Noah, right? A soft voice said. I glanced up. A young woman smiled at me gently, her eyes kind but curious. Yes, that's me, I muttered. I'm Mia Turner, she said. I'll be showing you around today. Don't worry, it's not scary. I nodded but said nothing. Silence felt safer. She leaned slightly closer and whispered, I can tell something's bothering you. You don't have to talk, but I just want you to know someone sees you. I swallowed hard. I'm fine, I said quickly, though my voice sounded hollow even to me. She smiled, not pushy, just patient. If you ever want to talk, I'll be here. Really? I didn't know why, but her words made something ache inside me. Thanks, I said softly, almost embarrassed. The office was busy, people laughing, phones ringing. I felt like an outsider watching everyone else belong. I tried to focus on my tasks, but my mind kept drifting back to Emily, to Ryan's encouragement, to the betrayal that never left me. Need help with that report? A deep voice asked. I looked up. A tall man, clean-cut and confident, extended his hand. Jacob Hayes, he said. I hear you're new. I can help if you want to learn fast. I think I can manage, I replied cautiously. Jacob raised an eyebrow. You can manage, or you can excel. Which one do you want? I hesitated, my chest tightening. I guess. I want to do well. Good, he said, nodding sharply. I like ambition. I'll push you if you let me, Noah. Don't hide from growth. I nodded again, unsure if I was ready. His intensity was almost frightening, but something about it stirred a spark in me. Mia returned during lunch. She slid a coffee cup across the table toward me. Thought you could use this, she said, smiling softly. I took it without thinking. Thanks, I said. I'm not very good at talking to people. You'll learn, she said, gentle but firm. You just have to let someone in. Even a little. I stared at the cup, my fingers tracing the rim. It's hard, I admitted. I don't trust easily. People hurt me. She nodded, listening, no judgment. I know. I've seen that. But trust isn't gone forever. It's like a muscle. You have to start using it again. I want to tell her about Emily, about the slap, about the 7 years that led me here, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I just nodded, grateful she didn't push. Days passed, and I found myself opening up little by little. Mia's patience became a quiet anchor. She asked how I was, noticed when I hesitated, and never let me feel rushed. I even laughed once at her terrible joke, a sound that surprised me. Jacob pulled me aside one afternoon. Noah, you're good at what you do, but don't settle, he said. Push harder. Aim higher. Don't let anyone define your limits, including yourself. I'll try, I whispered. You'll do more than try, he said firmly. You're capable. I see it. I walked back to my desk, heart pounding. The words sank deeper than I expected. Maybe he was right. Maybe I could be more than what my past made me. That evening, Mia asked if I wanted to join her for a short walk. I hesitated. I don't usually go out with coworkers, I said. You don't have to, she said kindly. Just a walk. No pressure. I followed her, letting the cool air brush against my face. For a moment, I felt almost normal, like maybe life wasn't just about surviving anymore. I still think about her sometimes, I admitted quietly, not sure why I said it. Emily, she asked gently. I nodded. I can't help it. She's part of my past and hurts. You'll heal, Mia said, but don't let her shadow the future you're building. You deserve better than the pain she caused. Her words cut through the fog in my mind. I realized she was right. I still felt pain, but for the first time, I felt like maybe my life could mean something. I turned my face to the sky, letting the fading sun warm me. Maybe it can, I whispered. And just like that, the spark Ryan had lit began to glow a little brighter. Jacob tapped his pen against my desk and said, Noah, your work is solid, but leadership isn't just about reports. It's about people. I swallowed hard. I don't know if I can lead. I've never really done that before. Everyone starts somewhere, he said, leaning back. You have potential. Don't waste it hiding behind fear. I'm afraid I'll fail, I admitted quietly. People have failed me before. I don't want to let anyone down again. Mia popped her head over my cubicle wall. Noah, you're already doing better than you think. You just need to believe it yourself. I gave her a small nod. Thanks, Mia. I really appreciate that. Jacob leaned forward. Fear is normal, but leaders face it anyway. You've survived worse than fear. Use that. Use everything you've been through. I clenched my fists, trying to absorb his words. I'll try. I really will. Good, he said. Tomorrow, I want you to lead the small project meeting. Take initiative. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. My stomach tightened. Me? Led? Yes, you. Jacob said firmly. You have the skills. Trust yourself. I looked down at my hands. The thought of standing in front of the team made my chest pound. Okay, I'll do it. Mia caught my eye from across the room and smiled. You can do this, Noah. I believe in you. Her words made something stir in me. Thanks. That really helps. The next day, I walked into the small conference room, my hands trembling slightly. Jacob gave me a nod from the corner. Go on. Show them what you've got. I cleared my throat. Okay, I wanted to start by discussing the project milestones and how we can improve collaboration. The team listened, and I kept talking, my voice shaky at first, but gaining strength with every word. I noticed Mia smiling at me from the back, giving me courage. When the meeting ended, Jacob clapped once. See? That wasn't so bad, was it? I shook my head, smiling faintly. Not bad. I guess. You did more than guess, Jacob said. You led. That's what matters. Over the next few weeks, I pushed myself harder than I thought possible. I stayed late, took extra responsibilities, and asked questions when I didn't understand. Every time I thought I couldn't handle it, Mia reminded me to breathe, and Jacob reminded me to trust my instincts. One evening, Mia asked, Noah, do you ever think about her? I froze. Emily, she nodded softly. Doesn't have to be answered, but I see it in your eyes. The past still lingers. I do, I admitted quietly. Sometimes it hurts, but it's not the same. It's like a shadow now, not a weight. That's progress, she said. You're moving forward, even if slowly. Jacob stopped by my desk that night. Noah, your leadership is improving. You're thinking bigger, asking questions, noticing people. Keep this up, and one day you could run your own company. I blinked, unsure if I'd heard him correctly. My own company? Yes, he said, smiling faintly. You've got talent, drive, and the resilience to make it happen. Don't sell yourself short. I leaned back in my chair, my chest tight with a mix of excitement and fear. I never thought about that. Me? Running a company. Why not? Jacob asked. You've overcome more than most people ever will. You've got the foundation. Build on it. I stared at the ceiling, imagining what that could look like. The thought made my heart race. I thought about Emily, about everything I lost, and for the first time, I felt like maybe none of it had been wasted. Maybe it had prepared me for this. Mia smiled at me one last time that night. You're stronger than you realize, Noah. Don't forget that. I won't, I whispered. I left the office feeling lighter. Fear still lingered, but it was no longer paralyzing. The pain of the past still echoed occasionally, but it was fading. I was starting to believe in myself. And as I walked home under the streetlights, I thought about Jacob's words again. My own company, my own life. Maybe it wasn't a dream anymore. Maybe it was the future waiting for me to claim it. I was stepping out of my office building, coffee in hand, when I saw her. My steps froze. Emily, older, thinner, eyes hollow, but glistening with something I couldn't immediately name. Noah, please talk to me, she whispered, holding a folder in her trembling hands. I gripped my coffee cup tighter. Emily, why? My voice caught in my throat. She took a hesitant step closer. I need to explain. Please, just 5 minutes. I shook my head almost reflexively. You have no right to ask that of me. Not after everything. Tears welled in her eyes. I know I hurt you. I hurt you more than anyone else ever could. But I'm asking. Please, ask. I laughed bitterly. Do you even know what you did to me 7 years ago? Yes, she said, her voice cracking. I slapped you. I humiliated you. I was weak. Scared. You were scared? I interrupted sharply. You destroyed my life. My heart. You walked away when I needed you the most. Her hand trembled with the folder. It's over now. I'm divorced. Aiden, he left me. I lost everything. I made mistakes. I felt a sharp pang in my chest, but it wasn't sympathy. It was disbelief. So, now you come to me because your life fell apart? Do you think I care? I don't expect you to forgive me, she whispered. I needed you to hear me. I needed to face the consequences of what I did. I stared at her, silence filling the space between us. Memories flooded back. The slap, her cold expression, her mother's smirk. My chest tightened with old anger. You don't understand, she continued, voice shaking. I've thought about you every single day. Every time I was alone, every time. I wished I could go back. I pressed my lips together, trying to stop the sudden tremor in my hands. Wish you could go back. I echoed. You don't get to erase what you did. You don't get to rewind 7 years of pain and shame you caused me. I know, she said softly. I can't undo it. I just want to apologize. To say I'm sorry, truly. Not excuses, just sorry. I felt my knees weaken, but I stayed upright. Sorry. I asked, voice hollow. Do you even know what that word means? It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't bring back what you took from me. It doesn't erase the nights I spent alone, wondering why the person I loved turned against me. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I understand. I understand now. And I hate myself for it. I wanted to be better for you, for us, but I failed. I clenched my fists, fighting the mix of anger and sorrow. You didn't just fail me, Emily. You broke me. And then you walked away, leaving me to pick up the pieces alone. You can't imagine what that feels like. I do, she said softly. I do, Noah. I've carried that guilt every day. I lost myself, and I lost you. I looked away, the wind biting my face, my heart a storm of conflicting emotions. I wanted to scream, to push her away, to collapse. Instead, I breathed slowly, trying to steady myself. And now? I asked quietly, why come here now? You're free. You want what? My pity? My forgiveness? No, she whispered. I don't deserve that. I just wanted you to know the truth. That I regret everything. That I'm empty without you. I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Empty? You think I care about your emptiness? I've built a life, Emily. I've survived your betrayal. You're late. Too late. Her shoulders slumped. I understand. I needed to see you, even if it's too late. Even if you hate me. I stared at her, the storm inside me raging, memories clashing with the present. I didn't hate her, not entirely, but I didn't know what I felt either. Anger, sadness, numbness, all at once. Emily, I said finally, voice quiet but firm. I don't know how to feel right now. But know this, 7 years ago, you lost me. And nothing, no apology, no regret, changes that. She nodded slowly, tears falling freely. I understand, Noah. I hope one day you can forgive me, even if not now. I didn't answer. I turned, letting the building shadow swallow me. My heart thudded painfully, and the past rushed in like a storm. But I walked forward, leaving her and all the ghosts behind. Emily's eyes were red, and I could see the lines of worry etched into her face. She took a shaky breath. Noah, I need to tell you. I owe you the truth. I folded my arms, trying to control my anger. The truth? Or just the version that benefits you? She flinched. It's the truth. Aiden, he cheated on me. He left me. I have nothing now. Nothing. I repeated, my voice tight. You lost your husband, your family wealth, and you think that makes everything okay? No, it doesn't, she said, voice trembling. I'm not trying to excuse anything I did. I never stopped thinking about you. Every day, I regretted slapping you, abandoning you. I felt my chest tighten. Part of me wanted to yell, to shake her, and demand she remember what she had done. Another part of me, something older and quieter, still remembered why I had loved her. You never stopped thinking about me? I asked, my voice hoarse. I didn't, she whispered. Even when I tried to move on, even when I told myself I was done with the past. I couldn't. You were always there, in my head, in my heart. I know I destroyed everything we had. I know I don't deserve anything now, but I can't stay silent. I ran a hand through my hair, struggling to process it. And now you come crawling back because everything else in your life failed? You have no one left, and you think that gives you the right to my forgiveness. I'm not asking for it. Not really, she cried. I wanted you to know, to see me, to know how sorry I am. I want to make it right if you'll let me. If that's even possible. I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Make it right? Emily, you left me. You humiliated me. You abandoned me at my lowest. How do you expect to make that right? Her hand shook as she clutched her bag. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I can't live like this without telling you the truth. Without facing what I did. Facing it. I asked, my voice low and sharp. You only return when you have nothing left. Where were you when I was drowning in the aftermath? Where were you when I had nothing, no friends, no job, no family? Tears streamed down her cheeks. I was scared. I was weak. I let pride and fear control me. I didn't understand what I had until it was gone. I know I don't deserve anything, Noah. I know that. I'm torn, I admitted, voice shaking. Part of me wants to see you suffer, to feel the same emptiness I felt. And part of me still remembers the girl I loved, the girl I thought I'd spend my life with. And I don't know which side to choose. You don't have to decide, she whispered. I'm not asking for that. I wanted you to hear me. I wanted to be honest, finally. Even if it doesn't change anything. Even if you hate me forever. I don't know if I hate you, I said quietly. I don't know what I feel. Anger, sadness, betrayal, even some old affection. It's all jumbled and I can't untangle it right now. Emily sank to the curb, her hands covering her face. I don't want you to hate me. I had to face this, Noah. I had to see you, to tell you that I'm broken because of what I did. I watched her, my heart pounding. I wanted to yell, to forgive, to shake her, to run. Instead, I turned slowly, my steps measured, deliberate. I can't, not yet. I don't have words for you. Maybe never. She sniffled, looking up at me with pleading eyes. Please. I know I don't deserve it. I know. I've lost everything. But please know I'm sorry. I didn't answer. I walked away, leaving her on the curb, holding her folder, crying. My chest burned with old pain, with unresolved feelings. The city lights blurred, but I kept moving. I didn't look back. Not once. Even as the past rushed back like a storm, even as the memories and heartbreak clawed at me, I knew one thing. I wouldn't let her presence define me anymore. Not now, not ever. I was leaving my office late one evening when a familiar, cold voice stopped me. Noah Walker. I froze. Linda, Emily's mother. Her heels clicked on a marble floor as she approached, eyes sharp, calculating. Linda, I said, keeping my voice calm. It's been a long time. Long time, yes, she said, smiling thinly. I hear you've done well for yourself. Growing company, impressive. Thank you, I replied evenly, trying to mask the irritation curling in my chest. She tilted her head. You know, Noah, Emily and we always thought you were unworthy. But look at you now. Don't you feel some regret for the past? I felt my jaw tighten. Regret? I owe you nothing, Linda. Not then. Not now, not ever. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. You're still so cold, so ungrateful. After all we did for Emily. After all you did? I echoed, voice steady but hard. You humiliated me, judged me, and threw me out because I was an orphan. I owe you nothing. Nothing. Linda's eyes narrowed. You could have forgiven her. You could have forgiven me. No, I said, my tone firm. Forgiveness isn't owed. Not to you. Not to Emily. Not to anyone who chose pride over love, control over compassion. She opened her mouth to argue, but I walked past her, keeping my head high. The power she thought she had over me was gone. Completely gone. Later that week, I met with Sarah Kim, my lawyer and oldest friend in this city. Noah, you need to hear this, she said, voice low but urgent. I dug deeper into the past, into Daniel's actions. I frowned. Daniel? What did he do? He deliberately spread lies about you after Emily left, she said, sliding a folder across the table. He told people at your old workplace that you were a liar, that you tricked Emily. He even pressured your manager. It wasn't just gossip. It was coordinated sabotage. I felt a hot surge of anger. So all those months of isolation, losing my job, losing friends, he planned it? Yes, Sarah said firmly. And Emily never defended you. She stayed silent, choosing her family and pride over you. She let it happen. I pressed my hands to my face, feeling the old hurt flare up, sharp and biting. I survived it, but I trailed off, anger coiling in my chest. Sarah leaned forward. There's more. Aiden, Emily's husband. He married her for money. After the Walkers went bankrupt, he left her. No remorse. She's been left with nothing, and you're standing on your own, stronger than ever. I exhaled slowly, letting the information settle. Karma, I whispered, bitterness and satisfaction mixed in my voice. It's finally caught up with them. Sarah nodded. It has. But I know, you're still feeling the sting of the past. You survived betrayal, humiliation, and manipulation. That pain doesn't vanish just because karma acted. No, I admitted, it doesn't. I still feel it. The years of lost trust, the nights I spent alone, the bitterness that once consumed me. I paused, clenching the folder she handed me. But now I understand. I see everything clearly. Daniel, Linda, Emily, Aiden, they all made choices. I survived theirs. I'm free from their control. And stronger, Sarah added. You turned pain into progress, Noah. You survived when many would have crumbled. I smiled faintly, a quiet acknowledgement. I did. And I'll keep going. I'll keep building. Their mistakes don't define me anymore. Sarah hesitated, then added, just be careful, Noah. Now that Emily is back in the picture and Daniel's schemes are uncovered, she might try again. Linda might too. I shook my head. Let them try. I've faced worse than their manipulation. I've faced betrayal, humiliation, and heartbreak. Nothing else can touch me now. Not them, not anyone. The anger in my chest simmered, but it no longer controlled me. It fueled me, reminded me that I had survived the worst. I had taken control of my life, while those who tried to break me now faced the consequences of their own actions. I left Sarah's office, stepping into the night air, feeling a mix of relief, fire, and determination. The past wasn't done with me yet, but neither was I done with it. I was no longer the man Emily slapped, no longer the orphan they tried to dismiss. I was stronger, smarter, and untouchable. And this time, I would write the rules of my own life. I saw her standing outside my office again, the city lights casting long shadows across her face. Emily. Her eyes flickered with a mixture of hope and fear. Noah, can we talk? She asked, voice trembling. I shook my head slightly, keeping my voice calm. Emily, I don't know if I can talk to you the way you want. You need to understand something first. What do you mean? She whispered. I mean this, I said slowly. I no longer trust you. I cannot love someone who abandoned me at my lowest point. You left me when I needed you most. That is not something I can forgive easily, or maybe ever. Her lips quivered. Noah, I know. I know I hurt you more than anyone ever could. I was scared. Scared your family would disapprove. Scared I'd lose everything I had. You slapped me. I interrupted, my voice steady but sharp. In front of everyone. Humiliated me. And you walked away. You don't get to justify that. Her shoulders shook and tears fell down her cheeks. I was weak, so weak. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was protecting myself, but I was only hurting you. I let her words hang in the air, letting the truth sink in. I remembered the pain, the years of humiliation, the nights I spent wondering if I would ever be enough for her, or anyone. I understand fear, I said quietly. I know what it's like to be afraid, but fear doesn't excuse what you did. It doesn't undo the damage. Emily looked up at me, desperation in her eyes. Noah, please. I know I can't take back the past. I need you to know I'm sorry. Truly. I hear you, I said, my tone softer now, controlled. I feel sympathy. I know you were scared, but I also feel strength that I never had before. You held power over me once, Emily, and now I paused, letting the weight of the words settle. That power is mine, not yours. I am in control of my life, not you. She flinched slightly, as if my words hit her physically. I never wanted to hurt you like that. I was foolish, selfish, weak. You were, I said, firm but calm. And I survived it. I grew because of it. I am stronger because I endured your betrayal and walked away. You need to understand that. Her tears fell freely now. Noah, I don't know how to make it right. I don't know what to do. You don't get to dictate that, I said, my voice steady, resonant. I need time. Time to decide what you mean to me now. Whether you're part of my life, or whether you remain a memory. Emily choked back a sob, her hands clutching the folder she always carried. Understand. I will wait. I'll do whatever it takes, Noah. I just want a chance to show you I've changed. I shook my head slowly. I can't promise that. I can only promise honesty. I am no longer the man who let your actions define me. I am no longer powerless. You want a chance? You will earn it, if I choose to allow it at all. Her shoulders slumped, tears streaming down her face. I'll accept whatever you decide, she whispered. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years lift slightly. I had endured betrayal, humiliation, loss. I had rebuilt myself, stronger than ever. And now, for the first time, the power was mine. I'm walking away now, I said calmly, taking a step back. I need time. And when I decide, Emily will be on my terms. She nodded, silent, broken, but somehow relieved that I was speaking honestly. I turned and walked away, my steps sure, steady, and strong. For the first time, I felt the full measure of control over my life. The past had chased me for years, but now I was the one leading. And I knew that whatever I decided about her future in my life, it would be my choice, my power, my strength, my rules. Mia found me in the office late that evening, her expression serious. "Noah, we need to talk," she said. I frowned. "Talk about what?" "About her," she said softly, sitting across from me. "Emily, I see the way you're looking at her, thinking about her. I need to ask you something, even if it's hard." I leaned back, wary. "What? Do you still want her, Noah?" she asked gently. "Or do you just want revenge? Because those are very different things, and you're mixing them without realizing it." I felt my stomach tighten. Her words hit harder than I expected. I hadn't wanted to admit it, but a part of me did still think about her. The anger, the heartbreak, even the faint memory of love. I don't know, I admitted quietly. I thought I wanted to forget her, but sometimes I trailed off, my chest aching. "You're still chained to an old wound," Mia said softly, her eyes searching mine. "And that wound is shaping how you feel, how you think, how you act. You're not thinking about her. You're thinking about the pain she caused you." I clenched my fists. She was right. Every time I thought about Emily, I felt the slap, the betrayal, the humiliation. Part of me longed for her, but that longing was tangled with bitterness, with a need for justice that wasn't hers to give. I thought I was stronger than this," I said quietly. "I thought I'd moved past it, but it's still here. In me." Mia reached out and placed a hand on mine. "It's okay to feel it, but you have to decide what you want for yourself. Revenge will never heal you. Real love might. But right now, you're holding on to the past, not the future." Her words left me silent. I felt exposed, as if she could see all the hidden parts of me I didn't even want to acknowledge. That night, I walked alone through the city streets. The lights blurred around me, but I didn't care. I needed to think, to feel, to face the boy I used to be, the boy who had begged for acceptance, who had cried alone in his room, who had been humiliated and abandoned. I remember the nights I spent wishing someone would see me, would understand me. The nights when the world seemed cruel and I felt invisible, worthless. Emily had been my heart then, and she had broken it completely. But I was no longer that boy. That boy had survived. That boy had grown. That boy had built something real, something strong. And now, it was my choice how to carry that strength forward. I stopped on a quiet bridge, watching the river flow beneath the city lights. The water moved relentlessly, unstoppable, just like time. And I realized I had been letting the past control me, letting it dictate my thoughts, my feelings, my actions. I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to be a prisoner of anger or old wounds. I whispered to the wind, "I choose myself. I choose healing. I choose freedom." The city around me felt softer somehow, less threatening, less heavy. I knew it wouldn't be instant. Healing wasn't instant. But for the first time in years, I felt a glimmer of peace. I thought about Mia's words again, about the future instead of the past, about the life I had built, the strength I had earned. I realized that moving forward didn't mean forgetting, but it did mean letting go of the chains that had bound me for so long. "I won't let the past control me," I whispered again, more firmly this time. "Not Emily, not Daniel, not anyone. I'll write my own story, my own rules." The city lights reflected in the water, shifting and sparkling, reminding me that life moves forward no matter what. And so would I. I took a deep breath, feeling the tension in my chest ease slightly. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe freely, like I was finally in control of my own heart. I smiled faintly, walking back toward the city, toward my life, toward myself. Emily appeared at my office door the next morning, looking fragile and desperate. "Noah, please. I need to talk to you." I took a deep breath and kept my voice steady. "Emily, I already told you. I need time. I can't give you what you want right now." Tears welled in her eyes. "Time? Noah, I've waited 7 years. I've suffered every day. I need you to hear me. I need you to forgive me." I shook my head softly. "I hear you. I understand your regret. But forgiveness, that's not mine to give lightly. And you don't get to demand it." Her shoulders slumped. I never wanted to hurt you. I was weak, selfish, scared. I know that now. Please. I'm sorry. Truly, from my heart. I softened slightly, but maintained my boundaries. Emily, it's too late for apologies to change what happened. You made your choice. I survived yours. That's all that matters. She sniffled, struggling to hold back tears. I just wanted you to know I regret everything. I still love you. You loved me once, I said quietly, and you left me when I needed you most. That is the truth I cannot ignore. Love without loyalty isn't love, it's a memory. And memories don't dictate my life anymore. Her hands trembled as she clutched the doorframe. So, you're rejecting me? Even now? I'm telling you the truth, I said. I cannot let the past control me. I've grown, I've survived, I've built my life. And part of that growth is understanding that some doors, once closed, cannot be reopened. Emily nodded slowly, tears streaming down her face. I understand. I hoped. I know, I interrupted gently. And I hope you find your own peace someday. But it will not be with me. My path forward does not include reliving the pain of the past. She swallowed hard, her shoulders shaking. I'm sorry, Noah. I truly am. I know, I said softly. Now, you need to leave. She hesitated, looking at me one last time. Her expression was a mix of sorrow and resignation. Slowly, she turned and walked away, tears falling freely. I felt no anger now, only a quiet sadness for what could have been, but also a relief. I returned to my office and checked my email. A notification caught my eye. Our company had landed a major deal with a prestigious client. A contract worth millions, the culmination of years of effort, long nights, and relentless determination. I allowed myself a small smile. While Emily struggled with her regrets and losses, my life had moved forward. I had endured betrayal, heartbreak, and manipulation, and now I was rising above it all. I leaned back in my chair, letting the moment sink in. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of balance. Pain had shaped me, yes, but it no longer defined me. I had transformed it into strength, resilience, and clarity. I thought of Mia's words, of Jacob's guidance, of the nights I spent walking alone through the city, reflecting on the boy I used to be. That boy had survived humiliation and heartbreak. And now, he was gone, replaced by someone stronger, wiser, unbroken. The contrast between Emily's downfall and my rise was stark. I didn't revel in her pain. I simply acknowledged it. Life had its way of balancing scales, and karma had done its work. I had nothing left to prove to anyone but myself. I poured myself a glass of water and sat quietly, letting the hum of the office at night fill the space around me. I realized then that peace wasn't a destination. It was a choice. A choice I made every day when I refused to let the past control me, when I refused to let bitterness dictate my life. For the first time, I felt free. Free from old wounds, free from anger, free from the chains that had once bound me. I had survived betrayal, heartbreak, and manipulation, and I had emerged stronger. And in that quiet moment, I knew I would never allow anyone to take that strength from me again. Not Emily, not Daniel, not anyone. My life was mine, and mine alone. I found her sitting alone at a quiet cafe, her hands wrapped around a coffee cup, eyes downcast. When she looked up and saw me, a flicker of hope crossed her face. Noah, she said softly, voice trembling. Thank you for meeting me. I pulled out a chair and sat across from her, keeping my expression neutral. Emily, I said calmly, I hear you want to explain again. But before you do, I want you to understand something. What is it? She asked, a mix of anxiety and longing in her tone. I forgive you, I said steadily. Not for your sake, not because you deserve it, but for mine. Holding on to anger, pain, and resentment has controlled me for too long. I'm choosing to let it go. Her eyes widened. You forgive me? After everything? Even after 7 years? Yes, I said, my voice firm. I forgive you. But that doesn't mean I can love you again. Love requires trust, and trust you destroyed. Her lips trembled, and tears welled up in her eyes. Noah, is there no chance? No hope that we could be together again. I looked directly into her eyes, letting the weight of truth settle between us. The Noah you knew, he died the night you slapped me. That boy, that man, he no longer exists. I survived, I grew, and I am not that person anymore. I am stronger. I am free, but I am not yours. Her hand shook, clutching the coffee cup as tears streamed down her cheeks. I understand, she whispered, voice barely audible. I thought I could fix things. I thought I could undo the past. I shook my head softly. You can't, and you won't. But that's not your fault entirely. You made choices, and I made mine. Now it's time for both of us to move forward, separately. She nodded, wiping her tears with a trembling hand. I'm leaving the city, Noah. I need to start fresh, away from everything for myself, from the mistakes I've made. That's wise, I said quietly. You need that. And I need my life without the weight of the past haunting me. She reached across the table for a moment, but I didn't take her hand. I will never forget you, she said softly. I will always regret what I did. I know, I said, voice calm. I will remember too, but my memory of you won't control me anymore. I'm choosing a new path, one that belongs only to me. She rose from the chair slowly, tears streaking her face. Goodbye, Noah. I hope you're happy. I hope you find peace. I already am, I said quietly, watching her step away. Each step she took felt like a release of something I had carried for years. The burden of betrayal, heartbreak, and humiliation began to lift with every distance she put between us. As she walked out of the cafe, the sunlight caught her hair, and I realized how light I felt. Lighter than I had in 7 years. My chest didn't ache. My hands weren't trembling. The chains that had bound my heart since that night had finally broken. I took a deep breath, savoring the crisp air, the freedom, the clarity. I was no longer the boy who begged for acceptance, no longer the man defined by someone else's choices. I was my own person, whole, resilient, and unafraid of the future. I smiled faintly, sipping my coffee slowly. The city buzzed around me, full of possibilities, full of life. I could move forward without fear, without the weight of old scars dictating my actions. For the first time in years, I felt a calm certainty. Life was mine to shape, mine to live fully, without anyone else's shadow lingering over me. I had forgiven, I had accepted, and I had chosen myself. The past had shaped me, but it no longer ruled me. I was free, and the horizon stretched before me, bright, inviting, full of hope. I stood, leaving the cafe behind, stepping into the sunlight with a heart unburdened, ready to embrace the new life I had fought so hard to claim.